Hello and welcome back to Best Era Football. This is week number 5 that we're in, and it is the 2-2 1990 Buffalo Bills going to play the last remaining undefeated team in the AFC, the 1988 Cincinnati Bengals, who have started off 4-0. We we are in these. This is the day game or the early Sunday game of week number 5. Of course, the Thursday game's already on the channel, but the Buffalo Bills have been broadcast twice, and they lost both of those games. They've won their 2 that haven't been broadcast, which is interesting. The Bengals, of course, have won every game, broadcast or not. So we will see there. Take a look at the standings. Buffalo very even. The Bengals definitely pass heavy so far. Bengals have the edge in turnover difference as well. Two very good teams. Both obviously went to the Super Bowl. Bengals lost in a fantastic Super Bowl to the 49ers, and the Bills 2 years later lost in another good Super Bowl to the New York Giants. Of course, wide right, Scott Norwood. Look at Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed. Both these teams have a lot of stars on it, so this should be seeing a lot of great individual performances. So far, the Bengals have been playing better as a team, but a win by the Bills here would certainly make things closer in the AFC. All right, let's go into the game. Hey, Vinny, glad you could join. I know the Buffalo Bills haven't done the greatest on the broadcast game so far, and they are taking the last undefeated team in the AFC, but we'll see what happens. So out comes Jim Kelly. See, so far in Best Era Football, he's just won the touchdown versus 4 interceptions. That's been a big part of the problem. Kelly needs to remember that even though it is a season of all great teams, it is still the regular season, not a Super Bowl or anything that would require him to throw a bunch of interceptions. And up to Thurman Thomas. Thurman Thomas has been pretty good this year. Here comes the Bills' offensive line. Wolford, Richter, Hall, Davis, and Ballard. Thurman Thomas and Kenneth Davis are the running backs. Andre Reed and James Lofton are at wideout, and Keith McCullers getting the start at tight end. Of course, they also have Metzelaars as tight end, and Don Beebe, as well as Al Edwards, will get playing time in the slot. Thurman Thomas makes one man miss, gets close to the first down. I believe that was Crumry. No, it wasn't. That was, well, let's look at the starters first. Scow, Grant, Crumry, and McClendon across the line. Carl Zander, that's the guy that made the tackle. Reggie Williams and Leon White are your linebackers in the middle. Solomon Wilcots and Barney Bussey. Then Eric Thomas and Phillips are on the outside. So, yes, the guy missing from that picture is strong safety David Fulcher, who is injured. So a big injury for the Bengals to deal with. The Pro Bowl safety is out. There's Thurman Thomas getting the first down. Someone's injured. It's not Thomas. It wasn't Dixon, the guy that made the tackle. Nice hole opened up for Thurman. Breaks one tackle. Another first down now for the Bills. So the 1990 Buffalo Bills. Now you see another huge hole opened up. This time it's Kenneth Davis taking it for 14 yards, and the Bills are just running right through the Bengals so far. And an odd start to this one. I was going to say your 1990 Buffalo Bills went 13-3. Again, made it to the Super Bowl and lost by 1 point. They were first in the NFL in offense and 6th in defense, so a very good team. many people remember their star-studded offense, but they were the 6th best defense in the league that year. Look at the other Bengals injuries. Montoya also out. So the Pro Bowl guard and the Pro Bowl safety both injured. There's Kelly, goes underneath the to McKellar. That gets half of it, brings up a 3rd and 4. Now here's where Buffalo has had problems on their 2 losses. They have been unable to pick up 3rd downs and had penalties in crucial moments. And there you see on 3rd down, Kelly gets sacked, ending the drive. McClendon with the sack. Skip McClendon. Now, one of the things about, there's always something unique about all of these great teams in best era football. One of the things that stands out when you talk about the 1988 Cincinnati Bengals is not counting special teams, so we're not counting kicker or punter, but of the 22 starters, here's one of them, Boomer Esiason, over 59%. He's got 1,030 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But of all the starting offensive and defensive players, only running back James Brooks was drafted by someone other than the Bengals. So they completely drafted this team other than James Brooks, who they got from the Chargers. Or who was drafted by the Chargers. Could not recall if that was actually a trade or a free agency that brought him to Cincinnati, but there you see last week he had 54 yards. There's another handoff to him, but that goes nowhere as Cornelius Bennett blows it up in the backfield.
Last week he found his way in the backfield from that linebacker position for 4 tackles for a loss. Another one there first quarter.
Yeah, help me out because we watched tape together before this game. What he did last week. Did that feel a tilt in this game where he was just running downhill to the left? It certainly felt like it, didn't it?
Yeah, the neither uniform exactly right. Do the best you can with EA Sports. At least they give you, they actually do have the 1990 home uniform for the Bills. So at least we have the, well, the pants and the helmet, but the jersey, just got to kind of get as close as you can. Thurman Thomas on the year, 314 yards through 4 games. The Dolphins finally lost last week. Again, the Bengals are the last remaining AFC team. So the Bills at 2-2 are only 1 game out in the East behind the Dolphins. There's a completion to Don Beebe, who stops, almost was able to burn 3 guys, but he did get caught just enough for the tackle. Beebe very fast, but not the strongest receiver, so he can be tackled by a one-armed reach-in. Watch this. Almost gets away with it, but brought down. But the Bills are across midfield. They got this far in their first drive, and then, of course, the sack on 3rd down ended it. Kelly's going to throw again. No, he's going to run. Jim Kelly takes off running. 5-yard gain. Jim Kelly ran for 63 yards in 1990. Boomer Esiason, a little more, ran for almost 250 yards in 88. So if you're looking for the mobile quarterback, you should really be seeing it more from Cincinnati than Buffalo. There Kelly does what he's supposed to do, stay in the pocket and throw the ball. Hits Thurman Thomas, inches short though. Okay, here we go, 3rd and inches. This will tell you if the Bills are serious about this game or not. If they screw up this 3rd and inches, it's just going to be like their other 2 losses. They're going to fail to make the key plays. But if they start picking up 3rd downs, like they did in their 2 wins, well, let's see here. Kelly hits McKellar. Hey, it wasn't pretty, but it was enough for a 1st down. And Kelly's off to a 4-for-4 start. Another good sign for the Bills. The Bengals had an overtime win against the Packers. Their other 3 wins have been easier. Not all blowouts, but they have definitely been in charge of their wins. See some of the other games in progress. The 49ers took the early lead. The other games are scoreless. The other game that will be broadcast for the AM, or not AM, but the early games is that one right there, the Jets and Browns. 85 Jets and 86 Browns will go at it. I am almost the same way. Super Bowl 20 was the first Super Bowl that I paid attention to, but I actually listened to it on the radio. My parents were not football fans at all, and we had just moved, and I don't think even had the TV, or at least didn't have cable set up or anything like that. So it was a radio listen to part of Super Bowl 20. But then, yes, the Bengals 49ers was the first Super Bowl that I really paid attention to, and it was amazing. And there's Scott Norwood comes through. So the Bengals are trailing 3-0. They have trailed before. They did trail in that game against the Packers, but they did win. So Boomer Esiason drops back to pass, throws it deep, and he's got his man. But there's a flag. I think that flag's going to go against Cincinnati. The Pro Bowl tight end Rodney Holman will not get credit for the catch because of the holding penalty. Now the Cincinnati Bengals of 1988 were 12-4. Won their division, of course, went on to play in the Super Bowl. Like the 1990 Bills, the 88 Bengals were the best offense in the league that year. That's right, they scored more points than the 88 49ers that they lost to in the Super Bowl. But the downside of the Bengals, I guess, would be just a middle-of-the-road defense, 16th overall. Even though Dick LeBeau was the defensive coordinator, so at critical times on third downs and other parts of the game, they could become good defenses. They could make big plays, as you saw. They held the 49ers in most of that 88 Super Bowl, if you have a chance to watch it or if you remember watching it. Here's the offensive line: Anthony Munoz, Reimers, Douglas, Smith, and Walter. James Brooks and Stafford Jennings, running backs McGee and Brown on the outside, and Pro Bowl tight end Holman is there at tight end, of course. The Bengals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Max Montoya is out, and he was a Pro Bowler, so if Max Montoya was in, the Bengals offense has 6 Pro Bowlers, including 2 All-Pros in 1988. Boomer Esiason was an All-Pro, and Anthony Munoz was one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time, so of course he was an All-Pro. The Bills defense comes with another stop. The defense has been playing very well for the Bills. It's really been the passing offenses that has kept the Bills from being better than 2-2. Oh man, some nice moves there. And that ends up being only a 10-yard return, but it was an impressive one for 10 yards. Al Edwards on that return. I was going to say that Ickey Woods was injured. I know they showed earlier who was out, and I don't think it said Ickey Woods was out, but he was out earlier. I'm not sure if he's back or not. We'll have to pay attention to see if he gets the ball at all this game. Jim Kelly threads the needle there to McKellar. That's McKellar. Last week had 4 catches for 63 yards.
These are his numbers from last week's contest. 4 catches, 63 yards.
The blast from the past game, I listened to it all. I was at work, so of course I couldn't watch it. But I did listen to it. I think I started right before you guys actually finished. So as you were finishing, I was starting the beginning of the game. And then, of course, I had to stop it so many times it probably took, I don't know, 4 hours to get through listening to the 1 hour game. It was at Thurman Thomas. He had stopped at first, but second effort gets him the first down. And the Bills have controlled this game so far. Yes, the 1920 Chicago Tigers against the... Is it the Tigers? It's not the Chicago Cardinals. No, maybe it is the Chicago Cardinals. Yeah, Chicago Cardinals. Chicago Cardinals against, of course, the greatest team of 1920. Which is the Staleys, of course. So that's Friday in the AM. If it's Friday AM, I will try to be listening to that live, but I'll definitely listen to it sometime at work.
Pretty good little two-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on third down. They like to
okay.
nickel or sub packages, don't they?
All right. Well, hopefully I'll be able to listen to it as it's going on. Otherwise, I can always check it out after. The first quarter comes to an end here, and the 88 Bengals, who are not used to losing here, are trailing 3-0. Again, it's only a field goal, so nothing to be too worried about. Now, last week, the Bengals, although they won and won fairly... Oh, look at that play. Jim Kelly starts moving a little bit, but it wasn't to run. It was to buy some time for his receiver. And then he connects, and that was Andre Reed, of course, the #1 receiver on this team.
But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
Here we go.
There's Kenneth Davis comes in for Thurman Thomas and takes it down to the 2-yard line. He's averaging 8 yards a carry.
That's a gain of 7, and we'll leave them with 2nd and goal coming up.
That play wasn't quite as big as the play that preceded it, but still, gotta like the way they're moving the football.
Oh yeah, James Lofton is still very good in 1990. But yeah, Andre Reed. I mean, you're the Bills fan, so you followed it closer. But from my point of view, Reed was the best receiver. Bills were loaded though. So here on 3rd and goal, the Bengals would love to keep this to a 6-point game. Oh man, that play for whatever reason took so long that both Kelly and Thomas got destroyed. It didn't matter who had the ball, except for Thomas, probably less likely to fumble in that case. But man, I am not sure what. There must have been confusion because they both just stood there and got hammered. Unfortunately, you can't force Tasker to be a gunner or anything on special teams, which is certainly unfortunate.
Double their lead as it's up to 6. So the drive takes him inside the 10, but it ends with just 3.
And a nice job defensively to rise.
Speaking of Hall of Fame special teamers, Scott Norwood's 2 for 2.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
Obviously, that is a joke. Scott Norwood nowhere near a Hall of Fame special team. He wasn't terrible though. Just a terrible ending.
And coming up later tonight in the NFL, we'll have the Chiefs heading down to Houston to take on the Texans, and then on Monday night, it'll be an NFC North battle. Vikings
Cody Parkey. I wonder if Cody Parkey's idol was Scott Norwood growing up. Probably not, because Cody Parkey was probably just being born when Norwood was blowing Super Bowls. So the Bengals defense did their job in stopping that to a field goal. So they're still just one quick Boomer Esiason touchdown pass away from taking the lead. But here they're going to hand it off again. It's James Brooks. He has 4 carries, only 10 yards. Yep. Parkey not even born yet. Boomer goes back for the screen and gets it away to Brooks, who gets through a few tacklers and gets it up to the 43-yard line. Boomer Esiason, 4 for 4. So again, the Bengals are coming at you with 5 Pro Bowl offensive linemen here today. The 6th, Max Montoya, is hurt. The Bills' defense will counter with 4 of their own. Of course, super defensive end All-Pro Bruce Smith. And then 3 of their 4 linebackers, Cornelius Bennett, Shane Conlon, and Darryl Talley, were all Pro Bowlers that year. So 5 on the offense of the Bengals, 4 on the defense of the Bills. Pretty good matchup. And there you see Sanford Jennings. I always want to say Stanford. Sanford Jennings with a nice 12-yard gain there, as James Brooks finally got a break. First and 10 now from the 45. Boomer drops back. Connects. Oh, a tackle is broken and all the way down to the 20-yard line. With some nice tackle breaking by Jim Riggs, the tight end. Second tight end. And the Bengals are on the move again. I was going to say earlier, the Bengals, although they won the game, they had total control of the game last week against the 86 Browns. They did have to settle for field goals many times. In fact, I don't think they ever actually got in the end zone. I think they won the game like 15-6 without scoring a touchdown. Really, Pro Football Reference. I'm quite sure it's Sanford Jennings. Wouldn't that be something if I was right the first time and I was corrected so many times to Sanford, and then it turns out I actually was right and it's Stanford?
Offense walks to the line for play number 7 of the drive.
Here we go. Green 39.
Now I need someone to get a hold of Mr. Jennings and find out for sure. Because I originally called him Stanford Jennings, and I was corrected by TV people, so-called broadcasters, and others that tried to say Sanford Jennings. And now everywhere says Stanford Jennings. So either everywhere is like me, you just assume the guy's name's Stanford, except for those couple broadcasters in the early 90s or late 80s. Boomer Esiason just chucked that one out of the back of the end zone as nothing was open, and now Jim Breach will come out for a 40-yard field goal. He doesn't have the strongest leg, but he's very accurate inside 40, and so there he puts it home. So the Bengals cut the lead in half. It is 6-3. So how about this? We get 2 teams who led the league in offensive points scored, and it's 6-3. 2 of the best offenses in best era football, and of course you would get a 6-3 game. And there is an odd matchup between the Carolina Panthers and Detroit Lions. And the reason it's odd is because there's only 3 undefeated teams. One of them is the Carolina Panthers of 1996, and there's only 2 coming into this week, there's only 2 winless teams, and one of those is the Lions. So one of the 2 winless teams against one of the 3 undefeated teams. So, of course, you know Detroit's going to win that game. Okay, see? See, I was right. I was right from the beginning. Huh. All right, good. Good. Stanford Jennings. That's why anyone that happens to come across this video remembers correcting me. I was right. See, that you should not. That's exactly why some things have to be kept away from children. They are easily fooled. What's the word? Convinced. I don't know. Oh, well, now I was sure it was right, but now Boomer Esiason saying it now. I'm not so sure. I'm just kidding. Still love Boomer. As far as a career goes, Boomer Esiason may be a little bit overrated, actually, in my book. But in 1988, it was pretty darn good. James Brooks calling the play in the huddle. See if Boomer Esiason sticks to it. He will give it to James Brooks. So Brooks not having the best game, but he goes in the huddle, calls the play to give it to himself, and Boomer is okay with it. Brings up a 2nd and 2. Ooh, Boomer fakes the pass and then gives it to James Brooks, and he's running hard on this drive. That's another nice gain of about 6 or 7. Is that Lonnie Smith with the tackle? Leonard Smith. Talking about Lonnie Smith. So look at Bruce Smith getting up off the turf. The camera zooms in on the player. You got to wonder if he's about to do something. Let's see here. Nope, they hand it off and run away from him. Smart. Cornelius Bennett, though, is on the other side. He's pretty fantastic as well. 3rd and 3. Let's see if they get the playoff before the 2-minute warning. Leonard Smith with the haircut. That is interesting.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, we'll take you to Orlando and Larry Ridd.
There you see the field goals that have been exchanged. 3rd and 3. Pretty important play in this game right here. And Boomer Esiason misfires. And that will force the Bengals to punt. Well, it has not been the offensive that some may have hoped for. However, it has been a good game. 6-3. Those are up-to-date stats, I believe. That includes today's yardage. He's up to 327 yards. Play action pass. Kelly, nice blitz pickup, or not blitz, but rush pickup by Thurman. But Kelly throws it away anyway. There you see down at the bottom a game between 2 champions. The Packers and the Cowboys. That'll be a big matchup. That one as well. That one will be broadcast as that's the night game. The undefeated 98 Vikings against the 85 Chicago Bears. Sorry, that's not two champions. That's a champion against a currently undefeated team. There's the Thursday night game. Tampa Bay able to beat New England. The Bills not calling the timeout. Saving all three for later. Kelly from the shotgun. He will deliver, and I believe that's caught. Andre Reed, yeah, why would he drop it? It's Reed's second catch of the game. And the Bills might be thinking about getting another 3 points here. Kelly from the shotgun, underneath. Not as accurate as Kelly would have liked, but McKellar still made the catch at least. Couldn't get the yardage afterwards, but there you see San Francisco also having a hard time putting the ball in the end zone, but they do lead the 87 Colts 9-0.
So the offense takes the timeout, and they are back out and ready to rock.
There's the confirmation. Leonard Smith with Bills carved into the back of his head there. More confirmations coming from Vinny X. Wolf. 3rd and 5. What do you think here, Vinny? How are they going to pick this up, or are they not going to? They're going to fake it to Thurman Thomas. Kelly rolls out to the left, comes back to the right, and gets hit. So that's a nice sack if you're a Bengals fan. Neither team calling timeout. They're going to go ahead and let this thing get into the locker room, basically, at 6-3. And that punt goes out at the 12-yard line. Rick Tootin. If he could have got it a little bit closer, maybe he'd have to force the Bengals to make a play, because O'Neal would put him in the end zone for a safety. Looks like they are going to go ahead and run it, though. There's a handoff, nothing doing. Shane Conlon on the stop, and that'll get us to halftime. I'm going to let you guys watch part of the highlights, so just get a drink here real quick. There you saw neither team has turned the ball over, which is nice. So many times in, well, really in all of football, but especially when, I mean, these are two Super Bowl losing teams, but they were teams that made the Super Bowl, so they're obviously great teams. And when you try to determine who's going to win a matchup between great teams, it's usually turnovers that decide it. But today I can say the Bills are playing as the better team and deserve to have the lead. But again, no turnovers has certainly kept the game close enough for either team to win, as it's 6-3. Okay, so the Bengals come out. By the way, when the Bills have the ball, they also will be coming at the Bengals with 5 Pro Bowlers. But the Bengals only have 3 on defense. So the Bills, they actually have the same number of Pro Bowlers. if Max Montoya was healthy. But because he's out, the Bills actually have one more Pro Bowler than the Bengals do in this matchup. No, I'm sorry, two more because the Pro Bowl safety for the Bengals is also out. Boomer Esiason definitely taking the clock down. I'm not sure what is going on here. Interesting strategies to start the game off with the old delay of game. Sam White's not happy at all with that decision. All right.
Still first down.
I mean, I guess you don't want to burn a timeout on the very first play of the half, but very odd to just sit there and take the delayed game penalty now. They'll fake a pass and then throw it to the guy he faked to, but a broken tackle by McGee. Tim McGee. Man, struggling with the first names today. Tim McGee broke a tackle after a 3-yard gain, turned it into an 8-yard gain. Or I'm sorry, a 3-yard loss into a 3-yard gain. Tim McOchocinco. Not quite. Not the same personality between Tim McGee and Chad Johnson, or Ochocinco as he would change his name to. Ooh, they're going to try to spread out the Bills now. 4 wide receivers as the Bills defense is clogging everything up. Boomer steps up and gets it out of bounds. And that will be a punt. Scott Fulhag comes out. And remember that delay of game. They got 12 yards, but the delay of game forced them to have to get 15. So that really blew up that drive there by not knowing what to do on the first play.
So here's the Bills offense now. They get ready for their first possession of the second half. They were able to get the ball back here, didn't surrender any points. Now they look to build that lead.
Okay, 2 tight ends now for the Bills. Metzelars goes in motion, and they will fake it to Thurman Thomas. What's he got in mind here? He's rolling out. Jim Kelly's going to take another hit, and that counts as a sack. Yes, he will. Scott Fulhag, currently punter for the 88 Bills. His career is going to take a turn as he's going to go from a Super Bowl runner-up or AFC champion over to Atlanta and be on one of the all-time worst teams, which, as you see from Vinny's comment, you will be able to see play when we start the League of Unfortunate Football, which is still under construction, if you will. Rosters still in the early parts of the construction. So, I mean, again, there's 32 teams, so it's not some sort of half league or anything. And 32 teams, uniform changes, name changes, ratings. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen. But when it is complete, the first game, the opening game, will include those 89 Falcons. So if you are watching this game and you love to see how much the Bengals are punting and you love that Scott Fulhag, get some more of them on the Atlanta Falcons and the League of Unfortunate Football. And trust me, he will punt even more on that team. In theory, I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen because as bad as the Falcons were in '89, every single game in Unfortunate League is going to be against another bad team. So all-time horrible offenses might put 50 points up because they're playing all-time horrible defenses, and vice versa.
block so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive
There's
line.
play action pass now. Kelly steps up, throws on the money to McKellar, and there's a touchdown. First touchdown of the game belongs to the Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. 12-3. The Bengals might get their first loss here. I don't know. Not going to count them out yet, but the Bills defense has been doing a job against them. And so a 10-point lead is bigger than you think in this one.
It can be at times, that's for sure. A lot of times the field goal feels like a disappointment.
Lots of neck rolls on the 1990 Buffalo Bills, especially their offensive line. Okay, Boomer Esiason's going to have to come up with an answer. It's not good enough to just be left-handed. Sometimes you have to prove that you can hang with the big boy quarterbacks. See total yardage. Buffalo over 250 now. Bengals need to get something going. Yeah, it's too bad that you can't, there's not some sort of coaching adjustment that you can specify how much you want to run no huddle and things like that. I mean, obviously, if you were controlling the team, you could do hurry up every play. But it's too bad that in the simulation, there's not some sort of, it wouldn't be hard. It's just like any other slider. You just say, you know, how much they like to run no huddle. Or, you know, if they only run no huddle in the last 2 minutes versus doing it at any point in the game. So if you do want to see the 1990 Bills running the no huddle, well, first of all, you can download these rosters. I forgot the name of the rosters. It was something like best teams 84 to 2000 or 84 to 2000 best teams, something like that. And do it yourself, or you can wait for about 16 years, and then when we get to 1990 and Sack to the Future, you'll be able to watch Vinny X Wolf run the no huddle. Did you run the no huddle in that one? San Francisco now up 15-0. Boomer tried to force that. He's starting to try to force things now. The 1990 Bills are really have the 88 Bengals number today. Now, what would be really weird is if just because of the fact that John kind of runs no huddle some with any team, so the 86 Giants are the exact opposite of a no huddle team, but it would be surprising to see him running the no huddle as the 86 Giants against the 91 Bills. There's play action pass. Jim Kelly, moron. He had time, and then he goes left, and then he comes right, and then he had no more time. Oh, you got to use Mark Bavaro. The 86 Giants, of course, in best era football as well, and even the computer knows to use Mark Bavaro. So Skip McClendon playing far better than you would have anticipated, and almost single-handedly keeping his team in it. In fact, because of the 2-point conversion, it is a one-score game now. 13-5. Not sure who had that as their final score, but I also don't think that's going to be the final score. James Brooks gets tackled, thrown to the ground by the safety, John Hagee. Is it Hagee or Hagee? I don't remember. I say Hagee, but I'm actually thinking about Cleveland Indians pitcher Charles Nagy for some reason. So I'm not sure if it's Hagee or Hagee. Probably Hagee. That was Riggs with his second catch. No, that was Holman. I thought for sure it said 87. All right, I gotta wipe my eyes or something, see if focus a little bit better. Boomer's Ice is going to go for a screen pass. It worked earlier, and it works again to James Brooks. Oh, I never call the Bears coach Matt Nagy. I just call him genius. There's Stanford Jennings with another 8-yard gain.
He's a guy that has some height to him, so when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to see.
2nd and 2. Hand up right up the middle and another first down. And Jennings is running hard today. He's actually running better than Brooks, I believe. And the Bengals have really turned it on after that safety play. The momentum is definitely on the side of Cincinnati. That's true. That's true. Another handoff to James Brooks this time, but Bruce Smith slowed him down, and then was that Hagee again that cleaned it up? I missed who cleaned it up, but Bruce Smith won't get half of a tackle or anything on that, but he was the one that slowed him down. Boomer now, another screen pass coming up. Completes it. Oh, nicely played. Saving a first down was Ray Bentley, the one linebacker of the 4 that didn't make the Pro Bowl. But he made a great play there. And that brings up 4th and 1. And now we're over 40 yards, and now it's not as automatic. And this one is good, though. Nice kick by Jim Breach. Just over the crossbar, cutting the lead now to 13-8. 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Project Blue Book, I have no idea what that is. So, oh my God. There was 2 guys coming in. Thurman picked up one of them, but the second one got home. And of course, is Joe Kelly, the inside backer. Who is the one? Thurman picked up one, but it's hard to pick up 2 guys coming in. Okay. That is the end of the third quarter. The Bills lead. In fact, the Bills have had the lead the entire game. Sometimes what teams do, though, is they lead the entire game until the last minute or two and they end up losing. This almost has that feeling. But on 3rd and 19, let's see if Jim Kelly can do something about it. Good protection this time, and Kelly will step up and fire it 1 yard to the sideline. It was more than 1 yard. It was probably like 4 or 5, but it was nowhere near the first down. So Rick Tootin will come out. See, he averaged just under 40 yards a punt. This is much better than that, though, all the way back to the 25. One tackle's broken, but Cliff Hicks is able to tackle him to stop it from being too big of a return. And out comes Anthony Munoz and the rest of that offensive line to try to block the Bengals to a winning touchdown drive here. I mean, it's 14 minutes to go. The Bills are definitely getting the ball back. Boomer from the shotgun. He'll roll out, and then he'll dump it over the middle. Did he catch that? Lots of traffic. He did catch it despite getting hit by a few Bills. The Bengals are still under 200 total yards. Great job by the Bills defense so far, but again, you got to do it for 100% of the game, not just 3 quarters. Where is Mark Kelso? It's a good question. Oh, Boomer Esiason decides to run, gets hit, fumbles the football, but luckily he was at the sidelines when that happened. Shane Conlon delivered the shot. See if that affects Boomer on this throw. Good idea to hand it off. Brooks will knock it the first down, but Boomer Esiason was probably not ready to throw a ball there. Hey, look, the Colts finally put some points on the board. It's 15-3. Why is Hagee playing safety? I mean, he is a safety, isn't he? I don't know if Kelsey was hurt or not. Actually, according to Pro Football Reference, it says Hagee started 11 games at free safety and Kelso only started 5. Kelso was the guy with the big helmet, wasn't he? I don't know if Kelso was hurt part of that year, maybe, or Pro Football Reference is just wrong. But yeah, it says Hagee started 2/3 of the season, Kelso 1/3. I know he's on the team, obviously, and their ratings should be very close to each other, actually. I don't know who the higher rated guy is. Yeah, Kelso was definitely a bigger part of the 4-year run there. Double shell, yeah, there was something weird about his helmet. I remember that, which obviously you can't do in EA Sports Madden. But what can happen is picking up some first downs here. Let's see if the Bills start working on the clock. It's an odd thing to say about the Bills, but not so odd for a Madden 18 game. And, oh, the Bills are going to stop him on the big play. They go to Kenneth Davis over Thurman Thomas. Another interesting choice. Not saying this is Marv Levy's best coach game of all time. So real quick, the Rhodes, again, both these teams, they have similarities. They were both the best offense in the league during their respective years. They both made it to the Super Bowl. But the way they got there, a little bit different. The Bengals, even though they had the best offense, when they got to playoff time, they beat the Seahawks 21-13. And then they beat these, not these, but the 88 Buffalo Bills 21-10. And lost in the Super Bowl 20-16. The Bills beat the Dolphins 44-34 and then destroyed the Los Angeles Raiders 51-3. So that's 95 points scored to get to the Super Bowl, whereas the Bengals scored only 42. And then they lost their Super Bowl 20-19, so very similar Super Bowl scores as well, both losing by allowing exactly 20 points. The Bengals did score 3 less points than the Bills did. 51-3, that's got to be one of the most lopsided AFC Championship games of all time. Boomer Esiason play action, looking downfield, and that is some tight coverage. Very well coverage. Is that Nate Odoms? That is Nate Odoms from Wisconsin. One of the best known Wisconsin Badgers.
First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. Pulled in at the 24. And he is out of bounds, getting it just shy of the 35. It's a 47-yard punt, but they did give up 10.
Tomorrow evening, okay. I also believe the Rams are tomorrow, so sack to the future. Moving along. We'll have both games tomorrow, and that should take care of week number 6. Rams playing a semi-pro team, so understandable that the hype isn't large for that game, except for the fact that it will get us through week 6. But the Houston Oilers and Dallas Texans, about as good as it gets in 1962. Jim Kelly rolls to the left, gets rid of it. At least he doesn't take a sack again. But that does stop the clock for the Bengals. 3rd and 5. See if they bring Kenneth Davis in. No, it looks like they're going to go ahead and stay with Thurman Thomas. Kelly will back to throw. Thurman picks up the blitzer. Kelly looks deep. Andre Reed comes up with a big catch. Jim Kelly goes over 200 yards on that throw. Look at this throw, but look at this catch. Okay, don't look at it. Here we go. Andre Reed goes up, gets it, takes a shot in the back, but it doesn't matter. Holds on to the ball. So that's what I love the teams, of course. These teams are great teams. They're my favorite teams of the era. But I just love when the stars of the era come up and make big plays like Andre Reed just did there. That's what makes all the work that goes into the rosters and everything, makes it all worth it. And in Sack to the Future, I think it was week 5. One of the bonus games I did in Sack to the Future with featuring the Vikings, Jim Marshall put on a spin move, and it was so glorious. It's just so exciting when the guys look like they did in real life. Buffalo Bills trying to put this game away with a touchdown. Jim Kelly rolls out to the right, slings it towards the end zone, and that's Andre Reed rightfully getting his touchdown that should put this game away. Definitely deserved to go to Andre Reed there. And Reed does not disappoint. Norwood will come out for the point after. It is good. And it's 20-8, and the Bengals are going to need to dig deep now if they're going to remain undefeated. Again, there's only 3 left. These 88 Bengals are the only one remaining in the AFC. So in a few minutes, we may have no undefeated teams in the AFC. The NFC has 2, and neither won a Super Bowl in real life. Neither even made it to the Super Bowl. The 96 Carolina Panthers, which is the biggest surprise in best era football as far as I'm concerned. And the 1998 Minnesota Vikings, who were 15-1 and really should have been in the Super Bowl, but didn't. They failed. So hopefully, if the 85 Bears can take care of the 98 Vikings, it won't be easy. But if they can, then it's possible that the 1996 Carolina Panthers will have sole possession of the best record in best era football. Oh, he dropped it. Boomer Esiason rolled to his left, put a nice ball And it was dropped for no reason. There was a close-up of Vinny's favorite player, John Hagee. Boomer decides it from the shotgun. He will throw a touch pass there over to Tim McGee, who makes the catch. Down under 6 minutes now. 3rd and inches. Now, will they waste the time to hand off to make sure they get the first down, or will they just keep going to the air? Boomer's going to go to the air. Goes short, and it's dropped. The Bengals are not playing the way you need to make the comeback here. I mean, Jeff Hostetler also started the Super Bowl. Doesn't mean he was better. I'm just kidding. I think Kelso probably was better. From what I remember, Kelso was better, but I don't remember Kelso so much in 1990. I remember him over a course of many years. Yeah, it must have been an injury thing. Either that or for some reason they thought, I mean, Hagee's only 2 years younger than Kelso, so I don't know why they would have thought, like, hey, let's see if this kid's amazing, and then after 11 games, like, no, let's go back to Kelso. That doesn't make sense either. So. Well, I could. I mean, with Hagee in there, they're beating the only undefeated team in the AFC, but I guess they can make changes. I actually think their ratings are close enough that it doesn't matter who plays. Kelso might actually be, I think their overall ratings are almost the same. Kelso actually probably has better safety ratings, like ratings that matter to safeties. So probably not a bad idea to switch in. Or alternate him or something, but Kelso will definitely get some starts. Boomer Esiason like a pinball back there. Pike is the one that finally wants the sack after he pinballs between a couple Bills. That's only the second sack for the Bills, but this is the game right here, 4th and 21. Okay, yeah, it must have been an injury then. Boomer, 4th and 21, trying to buy time, and instead he gets sacked by Wright. Jeff Wright with the big sack. And that is the game, guys. The Bengals, the 1990 Bills are going to beat the 1988 Bengals. The 1988 Bengals were the last remaining undefeated team in the AFC. So the AFC is all up for grabs now. Well, so this is week 5, so this is really Kelso's last game. So I guess I'll just leave Hagee in there for, I'm just kidding. It would be, if it's possible, it would be right to let Kelso start at least 6 of the games somewhere throughout this regular season. Two-minute warning. Bengals still have all 3 timeouts, but they're down by 2 scores. Now they'll start using their timeouts. The only thing that could beat the Bills here would be, honestly, would be something stupid from Marv Levy, like calling a pass play that turns into a pick 6 or something. If they just hand off to Thurman Thomas 2 more times, kick a field goal, this thing should be too much for the Bengals to come back from. They do give it to Thurman. He does get maybe a yard. That part doesn't matter. All that matters is he took away the timeout. And now Scott Norwood from 42. Please don't be a blocked field goal. I'm tired of seeing those. It's not. That's good. And Norwood puts it home. And you laughed when I said Hall of Famer. Anyone else that's watching this now or in the future? Completely joking. I do not think Scott Norwood is anywhere near a Hall of Fame kicker. Although I do stand by the fact that Todd Gurley has no heart. Oh, is he going to do it? Stanford Jennings, just like he did in the Super Bowl, returns the kick for the touchdown. Oh my goodness. How about Stanford Jennings? Flashbacks of Super Bowl 23. And Breach puts the extra point in, and it is an 8-point game. It all comes down to this onside kick. What a return by Stanford Jennings. Whew. The Bengals still believe it all comes down to this. Jim Breach, can he get the right bounce on the ball? And it's going to be recovered by the Bills. James Lofton. That's a man to put on a hands team, huh? Yeah, they're not going to kneel because they need to just get a couple more seconds than kneeling, I guess, on the first play. Now, let's see, 40. Oh, they might run still. They might run to try to get an extra 3 seconds off the clock rather than kneeling. If they kneel, they still basically put the game away. Unless they're scared of a punt return for a touchdown.
See if they stay on the ground for second down.
We got heavy. Everybody scoot up. Patriot.
Play action pass for some reason. Jim Kelly. Man, if that would have been incomplete, the Bengals would have a serious chance to win this thing. Unbelievable, Marv Levy. Call the frickin' run play. Call a kneel play. I swear to God, if they pass here, they will hand off. Thurman Thomas gets nowhere, but it was the right call. And the Bengals are 5 seconds. If Tootin just punts this out of the end zone, that should be the game. Or the Bengals might have 1 second. I'm pretty sure if he punts it out of the back of the end zone, though, this thing's over. Let's see. There's the punt. It is going to go into the end zone, so Tootin did his job correctly. Just a little bit of bad luck as the game's not over. There is still 1 second left. So are we going to see an 80-yard miracle here? Hook and ladder, maybe. Boomer will roll out and throw it off his back foot, because why not? And the Bills knock it to the ground, and the Bengals have lost a game. So everybody in the AFC has now won a game and lost a game, at least one. In the NFC, we still have the Lions looking for their first win, and the Panthers and Vikings looking for their first loss. Bills win it 23-15. 1990 Buffalo Bills are victorious over the 1988 Cincinnati Bengals. So both these teams are heading into their bye week. Bills 3-2, Bengals 4-1. They'll both get a week to think about it. Look at the yardage. It was all Bills. Neither team turned the ball over, which was impressive. Stanford Jennings, of course, with the kick return, made the game closer. The score closer than the game really was. But Bills win 23-15. Have fun watching Blue Book, Vinny. For the others that had watched this game, thank you very much for watching. Anyone watches in the future, of course. Check out the entire playlist of Best Era Football. And there's also a Classic Era Football, same idea, but for teams from 61 to 84. This era is, of course, from 84 to 2000. Thanks for watching, everyone. We will be back. I will be back with some more Best Era Football within the next week and a half or so. And that game will be the 85 Jets taking on the 86 Browns. So join me for that one in a couple weeks, or within a couple weeks. Click on the bell so you're notified when I am online with either this or Sack to the Future or anything. But again, thanks for watching. Have a good night, everyone.